Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you are and whatever day it is. So, today I decided to do a video about Mexico City. And the reason I chose Mexico City is because I've actually been planning a trip there, which I leave for this week. So, it just seems kind of fitting to make this now. And in the process of planning my trip, I couldn't help but notice this strange area on the map that I'll share with you in a moment. But first, a bit of history about the area. So, first interesting thing about Mexico City you may not already know is that at one point it was surrounded by a lake called Lake Texcoco, and the city itself was called Tenochtitlan. And I'm not sure if I'm saying those correctly, but that's what I'm going with. So, what we're told about this place is that in 1325, the Aztecs founded Tenochtitlan on an island in the western part of the lake. They built a system of dams and inner-city channels to separate salt water from rainwater and also to control the level of the lake. Then the Spanish came in 1521 and they destroyed the dams, which were never rebuilt, so flooding became a big problem for what was now Mexico City, being built over top of the former city of Tenochtitlan. And despite attempts to drain the lake through the channels and a drainage tunnel, flooding continued to be a problem for the city right up until 1967. With the construction of the Drenage Profundo, or deep drainage system, which is a massive network of hundreds of kilometers of tunnels between 30 and 350 meters underground, the flooding could finally be completely controlled by carrying rainwater out of the basin. So here we are now on Google Earth looking at modern day Mexico City. And this whole area right here is where the lake once would have been. All through here. And old Mexico City would have been just in this center area right here, with the lake going all the way around. And all that is left of the lake now is this little chunk up here. And then we got this kind of man-made section down here. And this massive channel coming all the way down, connecting those areas. And then up here we have Teotihuacan with the Pyramid of the Sun, the massive pyramid complex up there. And then we have this interesting area right down here, just not too far away from the pyramid complex. And when we check this area out, it is pretty interesting. And it appears to be completely off limits. There's really like nowhere that you can go explore in there. You see, it's one of the only areas in this massive area of Mexico City that you just can't look down there. But everywhere else, basically anywhere that's not a mountaintop, you can go, but not there. Then we get in here and check this out a little. Interesting, just a huge spiral. And they call it El Caracol. Can't find much information on it. National Reserve in Mexico. Now we do have a modern day story behind this, which I'll get into in a second, but I'm not so sure if I really buy the whole story. I think this is something that's been here a very long time. So what is El Caracol? And the only information I can seem to find about it is from Wikipedia or sources referencing Wikipedia. But what we're told about this place is that it's a solar evaporator built in 1944 to harvest rock salt from the underground water of the lake. But what caught my attention already is that they're saying it was built 23 years before the construction of the tunnels that were used to drain the lake and finally control the flooding. And the flooding seems to have been a regular problem for hundreds of years ever since the Spanish arrived. Now, it seems near impossible to find any real photographs of this area, new or old. No photographs of how they built it or what it actually looks like in real life, or even pictures of the area before it was constructed. All we see is a few modern pictures taken from planes or whatever Google Earth is willing to show us. Nor can I find any official date for when the lake was actually drained. But seeing as this particular area was one of the deeper parts of the lake and flooding in the city was still a regular problem until 1967, I would naturally assume that the lake would have been there up until around that time, because it only makes sense that for the higher ground to flood, the lower areas must have already been full. Now, I'm not sure if that means that all of this was constructed in the lake. Maybe they blocked all the water off to build these concrete walls, like when we build a dam or a bridge. And they do say it's concrete, and it does appear to be some sort of concrete or stone. Question is, how old? Why don't they seem to want to show us any pictures of such a cool area that I'm sure would have taken so long to build? You would think they would be proud of it. But did they really build it? I mean, this thing is absolutely massive. The spiral itself is more than 3 kilometers in diameter. 4 if you include this outer ring as being a part of it. And the wall of the spiral alone being more than 31 kilometers long. Never mind all the inner walls and all these other broken walls and weird things we see around the whole area to the south and east of the spiral. Did they really put all that work into constructing such a massive area just for a rock salt harvesting operation which soon after failed? You would think they would have more important things to be working on. So the question I find myself asking is, was all of this already here, sitting at the bottom of the lake this whole time? And was it simply just discovered when the lake was finally drained? Maybe what we're told is just a cover story to keep people from looking at something they don't yet understand. Or maybe they know exactly what this place is and they just don't want people to know. Perhaps covering up something that does not fit the official historical narrative. And maybe this entire area being much older than we're told, or having a vastly different history than what we understand. Maybe the Aztecs didn't decide to settle on this island just because, but maybe this was already an area of historical or cultural importance or interest. Perhaps there was already something there that they had simply rediscovered, and perhaps what we're seeing is remnants of a civilization that existed prior to the salt water lake ever being here. And I emphasize salt water because, well, how do we get a saltwater lake? Could this lake have been the remnants of receding floodwaters from a worldwide flood? And when we look at the incredible amount of Mayan ruins found all throughout Mexico and surrounding this area, it's not hard to imagine that this area could have been a part of that very same civilization. What's also interesting is that when we look at all these pyramid complexes and other sites in Mexico, like Teotihuacan, as well as many other ancient sites around the world, we can see that upon their discovery, before being cleaned up and restructured as tourist attractions, most of them appear to have at one point been underwater, either having been covered by sediment, in many cases being completely buried, sometimes showing clear signs of water damage, or both. But whatever the case may be for this particular area, I just find it kind of strange and mysterious, all these things that we see throughout this massive government-owned area. Things that appear to be like ruins or destroyed and buried foundations or walls. All the unnatural lines and circles, almost looking in some spots like some kind of a grid. Some areas almost even looking electric or solar. Strange standing and floating objects, and of course the 4 kilometer wide spiral structure just north of it all. And I could babble on with ideas as to what this might have been, like some sort of a massive machine-like complex, but I don't want to drag this video on too long. And there are so many interesting things in this area, it was hard enough deciding what to put in this video. I could go on, but I'm not going to because I'm a little tight for time. But of course, feel free to go check this out on your own and see what you can find. So I'm just gonna shut up and play some music so you can watch these last few clips in peace. So I just thought that was something really interesting I wanted to share with everyone. And of course, maybe I'm completely nuts. As always, don't take anything I say as fact. I am simply just exploring. But if you find what I say interesting, of course, feel free to do your own research and see what you can find. And perhaps one day we will know the truth. If you happen to know more about this topic or location, or anything important I may have missed, feel free to let us know in the comments. And seeing as I'm off to Mexico in a couple of days, I won't be posting any more videos for a few weeks, but I'm sure I'll return with some awesome stories as well as photo and video to share. So if you like exploring these kind of theories, please like, subscribe, and share, as there are many more interesting topics to explore. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you in a few weeks, and until next time, keep an open mind and have a wonderful day.